am Udion, and in this episode here, we are going to have a look at transients, what they are, how they can be shaped, and how we can use this knowledge to make better beats. So, drum sounds, they are highly dynamic in their nature. They move from silence to high amplitude in a very short period of time. And this energy a huge amount of energy arrives in the first milliseconds of the sound. And the transients are this initial milliseconds of a waveform, the high parts, in the beginning of the sound. If you think of a waveform, if you think of a drum waveform, you've probably seen it. It goes from extremely high and then it goes to silence almost immediately. And the transients are the first milliseconds up there. So in some melodic elements, it might not be that important to do of transients because there might be a very long attack, for example, and so the transients are not maybe not you're not emphasizing the transients, and you don't have to spend so much time thinking about those. But when it comes to drums, you want to maximize the transients, right? You want it to be as loud as possible, and you want it to come through your mix in a good way, that is, so it's not clouded by other elements. And it can also be that you might need to take the transients down a bit because they're peaking or something like that, but it's something that we need to control. And transients can be controlled with compressors, uh, RDSR envelope generators, for example, or like the LFO tools and stuff like that. And also, more specifically, transient shapers. And those are specific tools for the job. And those are often best because the ease of use, and also they're designed to work with the transients of a sound, and it makes it easier, and the sound probably hopefully better. So let's get cooking. What you have in front of you here is a 909 kick drum, and the initial transients are the initial sound waves up here, those here. And then you have the body and the tail of this kick drum that's down here. And if we use this up here is a transient shaper, a plugin specifically to process transients. Uh, it has an attack and a sustain, and this one here is the bare minimal in the sense of a transient shaper. But I thought that's good for the to use here as when we're learning about transients, and it's a pretty nice little plugin anyway. But if we increase the transients, you're going to see the waveform here. It gets louder in the initial transients. And then you have the body that if you decrease this, then its body here is going to decrease. Or the other way around. If you increase it, it's going to get a fatter sound, and you're going to have a bit more on the tails here, volume. So that is basically it when it comes to transient shapers and how you use them. But I thought we can go over to another channel. This is an entire drum loop here. And just to show you how it works on the transient, if I take them up here, then the kicks and the snares here are going to get emphasized as the transients. So that is basically it for transients. So by understanding transients and how you can shape them is going to allow you to create better beats. But a drum sound is not only the initial transient, it also has a body and a tail. And tweaking the contribution to the body, the decay, or what it was, the sustain, can help you, for example, give like a weak snare more body, and so it has more bulk in the mix. And cutting the tail of drum sounds can help you, make your beats very tight. So transient shaping solves a wide range of mixing and production issues you might have. So you might have like a hi-hats that's lost in the mix; they're not coming through. So you increase the attack and the initial transients of the hi-hats, and that way they will come through. Or you might have a snare that is overpowering and you need to decrease its body, or you have a bass that is overpowering your kick and you need to give your kick more of that initial transient to come through the mix. And so to so to end this video here, let's go through quick what did we learn? So we learned that the transients are the initial peak of a sound, and that we can shape them with compressors, RDSR envelopes, or better maybe and easier to use transient shapers, specific plugins for the job. And we've also learned that it's not only the initial transient that are important, also the body and the tail can be processed to achieve a desired effect, correct? So that's the last thing. Maybe I will let you go with an assignment, and if try to reproduce what I just did in here with when we were the practical cooking section, and try to get maybe a drum loop, then add a compressor to it, and then have a look at how the compressor is going to affect the waveform. And then after the compressor and before your whatever, if you're using an LFO tool or if you're record like resampling or whatever, however you do to watch the waveform, you want to have that last in the chain, obviously. But after the compressor, then use um, a transient shaper to fix whatever you might have caused with your compressor, because try to use the compressor in extreme ways, like go with full limiter on it and just hammer the thing down and look at the waveforms. All right, so until next video is going to be on tuning drums, so stay tuned for that. Don't forget to do all those shenanigans, the subscribing and the hitting the like button and commenting and all of that. It's truly appreciated. And until next time, see you around, guys and girls. Bye.